everybody, and welcome to our special science talk, Mustached Mavens, because we both love science so much, and there's so many cool scientists out there to talk about. I'm very excited about my scientist because she's local here in Arizona. Okay. So it is Dr. Sian Proctor. If you haven't heard of her, she was on the civilian space flight with SpaceX. She is the first African American pilot of a space flight, which is super cool. She's also a professor. She teaches geology, and she's really into art. She brought art to space with her.
What art did she bring?
So she loves making art and drawing and creating, and so she did a couple of art projects while she was in space and broadcast it live from space while she was creating it. And that was her petition actually to get her in to the SpaceX flight, was that she was going to bring something that people hadn't done before, and art and her passion, and then her geology experience and her pilot experience. She's just a well-rounded lady.
That is so fantastic.
Yes.
It's really cool to see, people of color going out into space, like Dr. Proctor.
Yes.
Sorry, Dr. Proctor. Got to get the right
Yes.
abbreviation there.
Yeah.
So that's very cool. Do you have any books or resources to kind of help support our families that are watching at home if they're interested in space and learning more?
Yes, absolutely. So we have a ton of books in our collection about space exploration and the things that are going on in space and with NASA. But unfortunately, there's not a lot written about women in space. There's only been 4 female astronauts that have gone to space in all of NASA, which is crazy.
Only 4?
4. Yes.
Do you know how long NASA's been around?
At least since the 60s, I want to say. So, I mean, it's a pretty long period of time. But I did find this really cool book, and what makes it even better is it's not just a book, it's a graphic novel.
Yay!
I know. So it is called Moonbound, and it's really, really cool. It's got a lot of really interesting drawings on the inside, but it specifically is following Apollo 11, which was a later space flight, but it talks a lot about the history. So like Russia, one of their first astronauts was a woman. So it kind of goes into that history, a little bit of other countries, and then the whole entire space exploration and flight. So it's a really, really cool graphic novel, Moonbound. And it is in our adult section, but anybody can read it. It would be a really fun one for families to read and kind of break up into chapters and talk about each chapter and the things that they've learned and what that means for NASA and space today, and the science behind it. So it'd be kind of cool. But there's been a lot of women in the NASA world, and this book goes into quite a few of them, so it's kind of neat. That's
so fabulous.
Yeah.
I love seeing graphic novels and nonfiction topics put together.
Yeah.
Another great one, or series that you can read too if you have like littles.
Mm-hmm.
The series, it's like the sun, moon, and
yeah.
Earth. Is it Stacy McAnulty?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, but those books are really fantastic because they're written from the viewpoint of the little planet. So,
yeah.
And there's one on Mars too.
Yes. Yep.
And what's great about these flights and these projects that are going on is that they're really pushing space flight forward. And
yes.
It's possible that within our lifetime that we're going to see people on Mars.
Yeah, which would be really cool.
Right?
Yes. Yes. Did you know that Arizona actually has a really interesting part in science and space history?
Do they?
Yes. So a planet that maybe isn't a planet anymore, which still breaks my heart, but Pluto was discovered right here in Arizona in Flagstaff at Lowell Observatory.
Wow! Can you go visit the observatory?
You can, and you can actually still see the original telescope that discovered Pluto. It's really, really neat. And you'd have to check their calendar, but they have different viewing nights where you can go up and use some of their telescopes to see different stars, planets, all sorts of really, really cool things. So Arizona's got some really interesting history in the world of space. So, so there's a lot of history with space in Arizona. And now the fact that we have one of 4 female astronauts is from Phoenix is super, super cool. Dr. Sian Proctor is a really incredible lady. So,
yeah, and not only is she from Phoenix, like she's currently teaching right now.
Yes.
Like
at Phoenix College, yep.
Yep, if you go graduate, if you're within that graduation range, you could go take a class from her. Like,
yes.
That is amazing.
I know. It's super, super cool. So she's a really interesting lady. I highly recommend following her on social media and checking out what she's doing, because she's doing some really, really cool stuff. So
wonderful.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yes. And in our next episode, we'll hear about a scientist you like and see what we can learn about them. So we'll see you guys next time.